the way the Matrix talks to young men, and the way the Matrix programs people, and I'm going to give you an example of this in a moment, is very much that it's all going to be okay. Oh yeah, no, you're going to university, good. It's all going to be okay. Oh, you're going to get a good job after university, don't worry, it's all going to be okay. So people believe that they're going to end up in this wonderful position eventually, especially when they grow up middle class or in the West, or especially when they follow the prescribed life path set out by the Matrix. Get a good, get a job, go to school, go to university, get a job. One day you're going to be on $250,000, $300,000 a year because you're a university educated person. I think that I've always known that that wasn't true. So I wanted to become rich because I never had this everything's going to be okay mindset. I looked at the people around me and how the adults around me were living, the full-grown men around me in my town were living. If anyone wants to go to England and take a walk around Luton Town Centre, you'll see how fully grown adults live. And the truth is, it's not going to be okay. And one of the biggest psyops that I see purported by the Matrix and just social media and online in general is you have people who are very smart people who do very well, who are already multimillionaires, telling everybody shit like, oh, don't worry, it's all going to come at the right time. The universe at the right time is going to bless you, and you've got to stay patient, stay true to yourself, and it's all going to work out. This is a psyop, because 99% of people are born, live, and die in exactly the same income bracket. I mean, it's ridiculous. Someone who's completely flat broke will post memes like, some flowers take longer to bloom than others, so maybe I'm just one of those. No! Make yourself fucking bloom today. Because if you don't, you are going to be poor forever. You are going to be born poor, live poor, struggle your whole life, and you're going to fucking die poor unless you do something about it. And I've always known that. It wasn't necessarily being poor myself, because I was relatively happy poor. Me and my brother always had a great time. But I just knew that if I didn't do something to get rich, it wasn't going to come to me. No, not everything is okay. No, it's not going to happen at the right time. No, one day the universe is going to realize that I've been a good person my whole life and bless me with what I want from life. You have to go out there and take it. So I think that's a very important lesson. And I'd like all of you watching, when you see these memes come up, and you all know which memes I'm talking about, please comment on them and say, no, this kind of thinking is going to have you dying poor, because you're going to have no plan, you're going to take no action, and you're going to assume it's all going to come to you at the right moment. And university students are programmed with this. But when you're at university studying, you think, yeah, I'm at university studying, I'm getting my degree. What the fuck does that even mean? Because I believe if you had a magical time machine where you could peer into the future, and you were to show a guy who is complacent, chilling, likes to play video games too much, doesn't really have an action plan, is working some job, if you were to show him himself at 50, still flipping those burgers, he'd be like, whoa, that is fucked. I have to do something, I have to wake up. So if you're watching this podcast, this is that time machine right now. Stand yourself in front of the mirror if you are that person. Imagine yourself 30 years older. Imagine yourself fat, out of shape, bags under your eyes, wrinkles on your skin, gray hair. Imagine that man exactly where you are today. And if you don't like it, do something to change it. Because it's complacency that damages people. And that's a mix of brainwashing and programming. And, your personality. It's a mix of lots of things. But I think growing up really impoverished, and looking around at the other adults, who are still I was 16, 17 years old working at McDonald's. I was working with people who were in their 40s and 50s, doing exactly the same job as me. And I thought, whoa, this is fucked. I remember once I was watching a YouTube video. It was a debate. Actually, I can't even remember what the debate was about. And I said, I was maybe 19 years old at the time. My brother was 20, we were living in a one-bedroom apartment, we could barely pay the rent on. I was watching this debate, I said, whoa, Andrew, this debate is killer. You've got to come watch this debate with me. He looked at me straight in the face and said, Tristan, what the fuck do you care who wins this debate? We are broke. Turn it off. And I was like, you know what? That's a very good point. We are broke. What the fuck do I care about these two people debating X, Y, Z? I don't even remember what they were talking about to this day because I turned it off. Because he's right, we were broke. But Andrew was a big inspiration to me as well because he was a lot more, as unhappy as I was with our current financial situation, he was a lot more unhappy. And it may just be that he was a year and a half older than me, because I found myself when I reached the marks in age that he was a year and a half later down the line, I find myself thinking and speaking in exactly the same way he was. But he was correct. Why the fuck was I watching that debate? At least watching content like you and content like me is going to wake people up and encourage them to make positive changes in their life. That's the kind of content you should be consuming. But if you're watching a debate on, I don't know, the war in Ukraine, or the England leaving the European Union, or even if you're watching, I'll go as far as saying even if you're watching an American presidential debate, and these two candidates are arguing, and you're flipping burgers, bro. You're gonna be flipping burgers whoever fucking wins. Turn it off. Do something else. I've never been an emotionally led person. I've always been a objectively factual person. So if someone says to me, for example, I got a comment on one of my fucking photos on Instagram recently saying, "Oh, bro, your hair is receding." And I'm like, I'm 34 years old. Yeah, my hair's I'm 34. I'm like, what? What am I gonna do? Say no, it's not? Well, shut the fuck up. Like, if someone calls me broke, or if someone says something about me that's true, what the fuck am I gonna say? Argue with them? Tell them that they're wrong? I'm happy to accept the truth of the universe. And I think we should all be happy to accept the truth of the universe. And if you're not, then you have work to do on yourself. Perhaps there were stages in my life where I was a little more touchy about things like that. But I think certainly with age and wisdom, because you have to understand, I didn't make my first million until I was 28. I didn't have any real money in terms of being able to do what I want and buy a nice car until I was 24 and a half. Like, I was broke a lot longer than I've ever been rich. And I just knew it. I think it comes with age and experience. There was certainly more I could have done when I was 18, 19, 20, 21. But I didn't have the role models that young men have today. I didn't have the access to intelligent people that young men have today. So I think today there's a lot less of an excuse. But if you find yourself, if someone says something about you, let's use fitness. I had some surgery on my arm in January. I'm getting back into shape now. I'm looking good these days. After my surgery in January, I'm walking around with no shirt in my house. My brother looked at me and said, "Bro, you look fucked. You look fat as fuck." And I was out of shape. For me, I was still in better shape than the average person. I looked in the mirror, I was like, you know what? Fuck, I do look fat as fuck. I can't wait to get back into shape. What am I gonna do? Tell him he's wrong? Tell him not to hurt my feelings? You know, especially if you have good friends around you, let people encourage you by telling you the truth. Try to take people's opinion and people you trust and people you respect's opinion into account. That's the best advice I can give. So if you're hanging around with a bunch of fucking losers, that's dangerous. Because if you put on 30 pounds by being a lazy fuck, your friends aren't going to tell you. You know, you're going to read shit on the internet, cope like girls like dad bods, and you're going to be like, "Oh, well, girls like dad bods." What are you talking about? Girls don't like dad bods. A healthy body is a healthy mind. Get into shape. You know, try to look your best. Try to, become more knowledgeable. Whether that be, watching YouTube videos, watching stuff that my brother or you put out. Just try to understand the world better. Try to understand that, you can't just walk through the world as a dork, because the things you desire don't come very freely to do. So I would like to think that every single young man watching would love to have a beautiful woman. They would, wouldn't they? Beautiful women don't like dorks. They really don't. So look at the things you want from life, and look at who you are as a person, and think, how can I positively change myself to get the things that I want from life? And I think you're naturally going to come out of your dork state just from doing that.